In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your artboards and get started on the Illustrator part of project number 2. I've got the instructions out in front of me, and we're on the part 3 execution phase. And as you can see, it says right here, you may not proceed to this phase until I have approved your 5 sketches. Okay, so refer back to the portion above if you did not do that. I do need to see hand-drawn sketches in little boxes like these before I want you putting anything in Adobe Illustrator. Okay, and I've left you a link on the discussion board where I want you to load that. All the instructions are right in here, so please read these very thoroughly. I don't want anybody doing this any other way but the way that I've asked you to do it. Okay. So let me show you how I got to this document right here. This is your Illustrator document with 5 artboards. The last one that we did only had a single artboard. It was an 8.5 by 11. And I'm actually going to close this out and do it again so that you can see how I did it. Okay, so I'm going to go to File, New, and I'm going to title this. Let's go ahead and give it the right title in the first place. Okay, everything I want, first initial, last name, PR for project, and then 02, or whatever the project number is. Okay, so don't put my name here, put your first initial and last name, and then PR02. By default, let's see, let me make this look like default so that you can see. It probably looks like this. If you haven't set it up any other way in Illustrator, when you open it up, you have one artboard, and it will always be a letter-sized artboard. We need to change that. There's a little double-headed arrow here. Go up to the number 5. Whoops. These buttons right here are just a way of asking you, how do you want your artboards arranged on your workspace? And it really doesn't matter. Okay, you saw mine were kind of in a grid-like pattern. You can have them in a row going across. You can have them in a column. You can have them stacked on top of each other. You can move them all around randomly. It does not matter. Okay, these 2 boxes right here, this also just has to do with personal preference. Don't worry about them. It's just how much space you have if you had columns set up or rows. Okay, but we do have to change this. It says letter here. It should by default say letter. We are going to create a custom size. And by default, I believe that by default it probably looks like this on your file, because usually by default everything is set up in points. So if it is not set up in inches, you need to do that now. And you need to change whatever figures are in there to 6 and 6 for 6 inches by 6 inches, and then tell it okay. And this is how I got to my artboards. Now, the thing about the artboards is this. Each one of these is like an individual file. You can work on it independently anytime you want, but you can also borrow or duplicate or take things from the other artboards as you need to. So it's perfect for working on a series of something that has something uniform, like a single emoji with several different emotions. So let's just kind of understand why do we want to do 5 artboards on one file instead of, why not just have them in 5 separate files? If you had these in 5 separate files, you would have to create a folder, and you would have to name each and every one of these in a way that kept them straight. You would probably have to name them, A, B, C, D, E, or whatever. And that right there is starting to get cumbersome. And then you'd have to provide, your client or whomever with 5 files that you had to upload and make sure that they received. And you'd have to open and be closing files all the time if you needed to get something out of one of the other documents. So this is really a smart way to work. Okay. I want to show you a couple of tools that you can use to make your artboard work for you. This tool over here is probably the one I'm going to use the most, and notice that it changed colors when I clicked on it. And the first artboard got a little box around it. Okay, artboards 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, this little tool will let me move my artboards all around. I can bring them off to the side. I can keep them back in, that grid if I want. I can resize them. A lot of times if you had, like, say, a campaign and you had maybe a business card, a letterhead, a home page, and maybe a poster-sized advertisement or something, and then maybe like a different size advertisement. You may have 4 or 5 different items all on one all in one file on different sized artboards, and so you could do the entire campaign in a single file. So it's really neat. And now I've just messed everything up. Let's see if I can put it back. So I can resize these by just clicking on them one at a time, and you can see that I can enter the figures here. I can enter 6 inches by 6 inches. Seems like I did something wrong there. There we go. Okay. This is another tool that is for the artboards. This just will let you know, it's kind of like a layers tool, which artboard you're on. I don't ever really use this tool. I don't, I guess I need, if I wanted to delete an artboard or put them in some kind of order or create a new one, I could go there, but otherwise I don't really need that tool. In fact, I need it so little I'm probably actually going to remove it from my dock, because I don't want anything in my dock that I don't need. Okay, if I ever want to get it back, it's in here. Okay, I might have shown you this the other night, but I custom arranged my dock over here on this side so that I just only had the palettes that I like to use regularly, and I only have, the things that I don't use regularly, I go to window for. But I regress. Let's go back, and I am sure there is a way to do these all at one time, but I don't remember it, so it's only a few of them. It's faster to just do them at one time than to stop and try to remember how to do it any different way. I'm sorry about my voice. I'm still a little bit sick tonight. Okay. Let me zoom out a little bit and see what I've got. Okay, so, whoops. There's my artboards seen from outer space. Or maybe not from outer space, but maybe from the top of Chase Bank building, looking down. Okay. So it does not really matter how you have them arranged. That's just the point I'm trying to make. So here they all are. I'm going to click on artboard number 1, and we're going to zoom in on it. And let's start. Next thing that we need to do is we're going to bring our pictures in from our files to use as template layers for these. And I think what I will do is I will stop the video here and start a new one with that step. So this has been your setting up your artboards video.